Now that we've had some time to digest the craziness that is UFC 303, it's worth asking the question, why did it take this long for the UFC to find a replacement, and why did they start promoting the fight last week? Or actually, no, not last week, earlier this week. It wasn't actually that long ago. And then suddenly it gets pulled and we end up with a completely different main event because I did this short, and I know a lot of people know about this, but after the UFC pulled its promotional material after that Dublin press conference was very quickly cancelled by Conor McGregor, they then re-uploaded free TV, or excuse me, free fights of both Conor and Chandler, which again is standard practice for them to promote these big events. And they also released a promo, which this stuff has been taken down. So I've got my short on screen, which I used to report this news. You can see here, this was a promo put up on the 8th of June. So actually it was last week. I'm losing track here because everything has happened so quickly. But anyway, they went back to promoting the fight and then suddenly the fight is off. Did the UFC know that they were going to have to look for a main event, and they kept Conor McGregor on the card to try and squeeze as much as they could out of fans? Because let's not beat around the bush. It is very, very suspicious to be promoting a fight like this and then suddenly to say, oh, fight's off, we got this and that and going on, and new main event, new Conor main event. It's like, hang on, why were you promoting this fight in the first place if Conor was injured? And the UFC, I have been suspicious of them doing this before because if you guys may remember, back before UFC 213, which went through a number of changes until they ended up with Robert Whittaker versus Yoel Romero 1, they were originally planning to have TJ Dillashaw against Cody Garbrandt on the card, but Cody Garbrandt pulled out with a back injury. And we did not find out from the UFC that Cody Garbrandt was out. We actually found out from TJ Dillashaw because the UFC was still promoting UFC 213 with Cody Garbrandt's face on it, even though he was saying, once the news got out that he was injured, look, I'm heading to Germany, I'm getting, I can't remember the exact treatment, but whatever, I'm getting back surgery, etc., etc. I'm not fighting. And the UFC took a couple of days to announce that he was actually out. So it is what it is. Like, that is very strange. Why would you be promoting a fight when the guy who, again, is supposed to be your headliner is injured? Then this one may have flown under people's radar because there were plenty of other big stories that happened last year, but UFC 284. I live in New Zealand, so for a card that happens in Australia, I was very much keeping an eye on the whole ticket prices and the news there. So tickets go on sale. They sell out incredibly fast. I mean, it was scary how quickly they sold. Then all of a sudden, Kai Kara France is injured, and maybe that was just whatever timing. It is what it is. But the next thing that really did shock me was Paulo Costa suddenly starts saying, oh, by the way, guys, I didn't sign a contract. This is all new to me. I didn't know about this. I was like, hang on. The fight has been official, or it's been out in the open for weeks, and you're waiting till now to talk about it. And the UFC, in my opinion, they could have easily saved that event because they could have got Sean Strickland to replace Paulo Costa. They could have got Jared Cannonier. Both these guys were willing to do it. Both these guys were saying, look, yeah, I'll fly to, or maybe not Strickland, but back before Strickland won the world title, he was prepared to be a company man. Jared Cannonier was saying, yeah, I'd like to avenge my loss. I'll fly down to Australia. And those were two very credible fights for Robert Whittaker. And the UFC, at least according to me, they made no attempt to save the fight. So that was suspicious to me. I was thinking, did you guys just wait for tickets to go on sale, the event to sell out, and then to say, we can't do this fight because there's no replacement? And I'm like, hang on, there's fighter A and B who will accept it. No, we can't do that. I was like, very strange to me. So yeah, did the UFC know about Michael Chandler's Conor McGregor's injury and drag this out? Because there's no question that you wait until this short a notice before the event. you're going to have more people who may or may not want to cancel their plans because Conor's not fighting, but they may not be able to because they can't get refunds on all their tickets. So, yeah, it's very convenient for the UFC. Maybe this is just coincidence, but I don't know about that. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm still waiting to hear more news on exactly what happened with Conor's injury. I have heard, now I don't know what to believe and what not to believe, but I have heard from Ariel Helwani, who did break this news. And by the way, I'll be talking about him in more interviews because he was correct on this one. Let's make that clear. I have been hearing that he, surprisingly, and this did shock me, isn't throwing the UFC under the bus. So, yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Drop your thoughts down below, like the video, and subscribe to the channel for more, as always.